Okay, this will be lesson number 269, and we're going to talk a little bit about overburn. And I've touched on it several times so far, but just to make sure we're all clear here on our overburn. And I had made the statement earlier that we usually calculate 2,000ths per side for overburn. And let's talk about overburn just a little bit here. Basically, if you were going to take and learn how to stick weld or TIG weld, and we have a piece of metal here that we want to put a bead of weld on, you're never going to take whatever the stick welding, actual stick, and touch the part. It's always just above the part. And exaggerated the way that would look, so we can make our part a little bigger. What's happening here is, here's your stick, then the arc jumps in between, and that's how you add metal to it. You can't, if you stick it to it, it just sticks and arcs out. Well, we have the same issue with EDM. As I said, I feel like EDM and welding are very similar as we're using a positive electrode and a negative grounded piece to complete a circuit. So where we use air, or even on TIG welding, we might use a gas to shield that, but we never stick the actual electrode into the piece, or it arcs out and sticks. It's done. You're done welding. Same with EDM. So again, what's going to happen here, if you're with your workpiece, with your electrode, if this is the top of your part, your electrode is always going to be burning a gap. Okay? And for normal settings, like I said, we set that gap at 2,000ths per side. And what facilitates the actual burning process is the dielectric fluid in the EDM machine. And that is what is insulating this electrode from sticking to the piece. So you're always going to have that overburn, and depending on what you set your dials to, you can lower that overburn. There's always going to be some, but then you're going to go really slow. But if you need a fine finish, you can do that. If you want to rough out some things, you can set your machine settings so you're getting more overburn, and you have to adjust your electrode size for that, or you'll make your workpiece or your feature too big. So I just want to make sure that the difference is that you are always going to have a gap, and that electrode is always going to burn oversized. That's why you make your electrodes about 2,000ths per side smaller. Now the last thing is, you might be wondering, what about picking up on the depth? Most of the time, if not all the time, you're going to pick up your depth while the electrode is hot, had a charge put to it, right on the top of your workpiece. So it's automatically going to give you your 2,000ths gap. Alright, so what you do there is you bring your electrode down, and when it hits, then you set your stop for whatever depth you want, and you've already got your 2,000ths gap because you were hot when you did it. Alright, that's on the Z, but on your X and Y, you're always going to allow for your 2,000ths overburn. So I hope that helps you out a little bit, and that concludes lesson 269 on a little bit of overview on overburn.